Today I want to take you through a quick glossary of terms, acronyms, sort of industry terms that are thrown around that you'll probably see used in forums and on other websites and affiliate programs that you join and that type of thing. And I just want to make them clear so that you understand what they mean, not only what they mean, but what they actually are. So some of them are going to take a little bit more time than others to talk about just based on how much explanation is needed. So first one is SEO. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and it's basically the practice of making your site as Google friendly or as search engine friendly as possible. And it's also the practice of creating links and content on the rest of the internet that points back to your website and to your sales funnel. And that's usually done by someone who will refer to themselves as an SEO or a search engine optimizer. So SEO sometimes refers to a position in it, like as a, I'm hiring an SEO, search engine optimizer. And sometimes it means, some people will say, I'm doing the SEO for my website, which means I'm doing the search engine optimization for my website. So sometimes you hear it used two different ways, but it's basically the on-site SEO is where you kind of reduce the friction between you and Google. You make your site as sort of coded the way Google wants it, the best way possible. And then the other side of it is building content and links back to your website. Next is search engine marketing. Search engine optimization, search engine marketing kind of fall into the same category, but usually the difference with search engine marketing is that search engine marketing requires you to pay for your advertising on search engines. It's a little bit more like a budgetary type of a thing where you're actually out there buying traffic on a regular basis as opposed to trying to get to the top in the organic section, which doesn't cost you anything except time and energy. The next one is PPC, pay per click. That's exactly what it sounds like. Some companies will say to you, well, we charge 5 cents PPC. That means every time someone clicks on your ad, you're out a nickel. PPL, which is pay per lead. A lot of the time companies will offer you a bounty or a payout every time someone fills out a simple lead acquisition form where it's like maybe they give up their name and their email address and the city that they're from or their zip code or the postal code or something like that. Or if you're buying traffic, you will pay per lead. You can pay per lead in terms of I want 100 new people to join my mailing list, and you'll pay $1 per lead, and so it's going to cost you $100 to get those 100 leads to your mailing list. PPV, which is pay per view. That's usually when you're buying banner impressions. You're paying either by the single view. Sometimes they'll have like a fraction of a cent that they charge you or a penny that they charge you every time your banner shows up. CPC stands for cost per click. So similar to pay per click, the cost per click, if I say to you, I'm going to sell you traffic on a pay-per-click basis, and I'm going to sell you traffic on a PPC basis, and your CPC will be 5 cents. So that means I'm going to sell you traffic on a pay-per-click basis, and your cost per click, CPC, is 5 cents. CPA, which is cost per acquisition, sometimes known as cost per action. It can also be flipped around and referred to as PPA, which is also pay per action, pay per acquisition. Basically what that means is an action can be a number of things. An action can be a new sale, it can be a new subscription, it can be a free trial, it could be a lead in some cases. So when someone says I pay per acquisition, it usually means the acquisition of a new customer. And a lot of the time in a CPA environment, cost per acquisition, a bounty is paid. So your customer that you sign up to my program might pay $2.95 for a trial, but I'm going to give you $45 for the lifetime value of that customer right up front. So cost per acquisition is kind of a really cool way to buy traffic or to sell traffic. CPM, which is cost per mil, cost per 1,000 impressions. Similar to PPV, where you pay for the views of your banner, instead of paying per individual view or paying for a certain bundle of views, it's always priced per 1,000. So sometimes they'll say, well, our traffic is sold at $5 CPM, which basically means every time 1,000 people see your banner, you pay $5. CPE, which is cost per engagement. Sometimes people will have websites where there's a game or there's some other type of sort of rabbit hole they want to take customers down. Sometimes there is a lead involved in cost per engagement, but it usually requires the person to do more than just land on the web page. They want them to actually do something. They want them to play a video or get involved somehow in that website when they get there. CTR stands for click-through rate. So the best example of this is if 100 people come to your website and you have an ad on your website and that ad gets 2 clicks out of those 100 people that come to your website. The click-through rate of that advertisement is 2%. And that's sort of the basic way to explain what a click-through rate is. Google calculates the click-through rate when you buy the AdWords ads that go down the right-hand side of the Google web search pages. They'll actually measure your CTR click-through rate as a part of how they rank that advertisement. It's not just about how much you pay per click, but if your ad gets more clicks than the guy above you, they'll move your ad higher based on your click-through rate being better. CR, which stands for conversion rate. Conversion rate is basically, again, if 100 people were to come to your website and 2 people made a purchase, your conversion rate is 2%. So 2 out of every 100 people that came to your website purchased something. And it's important to know what your conversion rate is, because when you're looking at some of these other terms that we talked about, like PPC and CPC and PPV and all these other kinds of things, if you know your numbers and you're able to do your calculations, you're able to say, okay, I know I've sent 10,000 people to my website, and I know that 2.2% of every 100 people that come to my website, I'm going to make, I'm going to sell no matter what, and that's kind of my average. And if you know how much each one of those sales is worth to you, you can calculate what the value of a visitor is. So let's just say, for the sake of argument, your conversion rate is 1%. Let's just do this really simply. The conversion rate, 1 out of every 100 people that come to your website buys something. If that's the case, and you're buying traffic at 5 cents per click, it's going to cost you $5 to get 100 people to your website. Now, if your product that you sell is $20 or the profit on your product that you sell is $20, well, then you've made a $15 profit. So you know that you could probably get away with spending upwards of, say, 10 to 15 cents per visitor or per click and still profit based on your conversion rate. So it's good to kind of know these numbers so that you can back up and say, okay, now that I know what my conversion rate is, I know what I can get away with paying per click, and it kind of helps you to really intelligently buy advertising, not just poke around in the dark. The next one I want to talk to you about is RSS. You'll see these little RSS, orange little RSS. They look like antenna symbols almost, little RSS symbols on all kinds of websites. RSS stands for really simple syndication. And with the advent of WordPress and other content management systems, what's happened now is that the content on your website has actually now been separated from the design. The content kind of sits in a database all by itself. So if you write an article and you put it up on your website and you've got this beautiful website with a nice header and advertising down the side and links to your friends' web pages and you know, all these colors and backgrounds and all that kind of stuff, the article itself is actually just a text file similar to a Microsoft Word document that just sits in a database on your server. And the design is actually a part of the WordPress management system, and it's just there to deliver that content. And so what really simple syndication does is it actually takes that content, that skeleton of data from your website, and allows other websites, feed readers, other things to subscribe to your content. I like to read a lot of blogs because I like to stay on top of what's going on in the industry. And I also like to comment on a lot of blogs in my niche because it gets traffic back to my website. So blog commenting is a great way to generate traffic. How do I know when my favorite blogs have updated? Well, by subscribing to their RSS feed in something called a feed reader. You can download feed readers for free all day long. They've got them built into Outlook, and a lot of different software now has feed readers built right into it. But I use a program called Newswire, and I drag all the RSS feeds of all the blogs I love into Newswire, and every hour it checks every single blog I follow, and if there's a new blog post, it shows me right away that there's a new blog post and I can click on it. So you, as someone who publishes content, knowing RSS is important. If you have an RSS feed as a part of your content, people will access your blog more often, they'll access your content more often, so RSS is really important. Contextual advertising. This is what you'll see. Sometimes you'll go to a website and you'll see advertising that matches the content on the website. So, you know, you go to a website with a recipe for vegan cupcakes, you'll probably see cupcake and vegan type ads that show up next to that content. The advertising is contextual and it's based on what's on the website that it's being served from. A link farm. Link farming is something that if you understand search engine optimization, you understand getting lots of links is important. What a lot of people will try and create are these things called link farms, and they're absolutely useless, but it's basically a web page that's just loaded down with links to other websites that they've either sold to people somehow, or that they think that by creating a whole bunch of websites and then creating all these link farm type pages, which is just basically web pages full of links, they have no content value, you would never read this web page. That's what a link farm is. Stay away from that kind of stuff. Never build any pages that you wouldn't want to read yourself. Affiliate program. An affiliate program is basically, let's say I have a product that I want to sell. I have a $20 product I want to sell, and I need traffic, and you've got a mailing list, or you have a blog, or you have an audience somewhere that you can share with me. Well, what I'll do is I'll give you access to my affiliate program, and I'll say, I'm going to give you 50% of every one of my sales that you generate because you sent me that traffic as an affiliate. So you've now joined my affiliate program, you send traffic to me, and for every time you generate a sale from one of your visitors or subscribers or whatever it might be, I'll pay you $10. That's how an affiliate program works. I hope you've enjoyed this glossary of terms, and hopefully I've helped to answer some questions that you may have been sitting on.